Hello, it's Russ from YUMDM, back again for another live stream, which is just in my second of this experiment for 2025 on YouTube. Not too sure if we have anyone on. Two people? It said two people are on. Oh, yes, there is. Can I see who's on? I don't know. None of your business is on. Hello, none of your business. That's a great name, by the way. So it did say two, but maybe I'm one of them. So thanks for joining me, none of your business. I'm Russ. Today, I want to talk about a few things. My latest purchases, which I seem to do each time I jump on. So I'll start with that. So the first two purchases that I made this week is to add to my Hero Quest line, which is Kellar's Keep quest pack and Return of the Witch Lord quest pack. These were both on sale at my local toy store, which have a huge selection of games. So I was pretty impressed with that. I got a whole lot of gift cards for Christmas and my birthday. My birthday is only about 2 weeks after Christmas, so and I even went into the city yesterday, but I didn't buy anything. I couldn't find anything that I really wanted. But I did buy these about a week ago. I haven't I've undone them just to have a look, and I've read the quests and some of the quests and stuff, which are pretty cool. But as you can see, I haven't punched out the counters or played them. Really digging the artwork though on the cards, which is all the sort of black and white sort of line drawing. It's pretty cool. I'm really digging the old school feel. Whoops, there we go. Sorry. So I bought those two, had a look, had a bit of a read. They seem pretty cool, even though these are sort of from the latest edition. Hey, Daryl, thanks for joining. Even though these are for the new edition, I've got the original Hero Quest edition, but I believe they're compatible with each other, so I'm not too worried about that. David Lynn, you have at least two. Oh, hey, you got two. We got three now, so that's good. Oh, it says five. I don't know if I'm still one of those five. But good morning from Brisbane, Australia. I guess it's probably evening for most of you guys. The other purchase I made that I received yesterday, which I actually purchased and kind of forgot about. I do that often. I purchase stuff on eBay and I forget about it, and then it just arrives in the mail. It's like being like Christmas time every week, which is pretty cool. So I'm glad I've got a bad memory in that sense, maybe. I don't know. But these are some Star Wars, classic Star Wars goodness. Hang on, I always don't know which way to go. Here we go. So Kraken Rebels Field Guide and Creatures of the Galaxy, both for Star Wars. And this is for the old D6 WEG Star Wars, West End Games version of Star Wars, which is D6 base system, which is, in my mind, probably the best Star Wars that they've had. Rules-wise, we played a huge campaign back in the 80s and 90s. I think we started on the first edition, and then I bought the second edition when it came out. And we played it to death, really. But I'm sort of slowly grabbing my good morning, Jack. Building my collection back up. And these came up fairly cheap on eBay, which was kind of cool. The Kraken's Rebel Field Guide is just a whole host of different equipment that you can have. And the creatures, obviously, creatures. I'll just see if there's one thing about the old WEG Star Wars is that some of the artwork was a bit dubious. Some of it was pretty cool. Like that one's pretty cool. And the monsters got a bit weird and wacky. Some of the names are a bit wacky. That's kind of a cool picture. I don't know if it's Star Wars, but it's still a cool picture. But anyway, so some of the art was all over the place, but the rule system and everything else about it was just great. What else did I... Oh, yes. Now, this is going to look pretty crap because it's a black and white, and I only have a black and white printer at home. I really need to get a color one, or at least visit Officeworks more often. And that is Beneath the Sunken Catacombs. So that's my black and white photocopy. Inside, it's all good because the artwork's all black and white anyway. And the artwork is just phenomenal in this book. And yes, I'm holding it together with a pink rubber band. But yeah, I highly recommend this. I mentioned it on a blog post that I did recently. It's an OSR rule book. And it's great. Its strength really lies in character creation. You have your standard sort of classes like your fighter, although they call it warrior. But then you have these variants which you can just tack on to the character over here. So instead of just being a warrior or a fighter, you can be a crusader, a barbarian, a brigand, or a swashbuckler. And that depends on what traits you get the character. But there's not a huge list of traits. It's a very simple system with a lot of 3E thrown in, I think, or not a lot, but a little bit here and there. But yeah, highly recommend this book if you're into OSR stuff. I think that's it for purchases, which is pretty good. I'm just having a look around. My place this room is a bit of a mess. It's just got piles of stuff everywhere. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think, for purchases. I've got 2 more zines coming out at the end of this month, which will be number 43 and 44, which carries on beneath second edition on. Yeah. Thanks, none of your business. Yeah, Beneath Sunken Catacombs, second edition is only $2.99 US on Drive-Thru RPG, which is nothing for such a great little rule set. Highly recommend. What was I talking about? The zines. Yeah, so I've got 2 of the latest issues coming out, and that will be me caught up after my illness. I don't know if everyone knew I was quite sick late last year, and everything got put on hold for about 3 to 4 months, including my Kickstarter, which I am fulfilling. So if you have backed it, please don't think it's not going to come. It will. I'm aiming for March. It's pretty much edited to the point where I need to give it another run. All the artwork isn't quite completed yet, but it will be by the time I need to send it off. It goes to a proofreader, and he'll have it sort of over that February period. And then as soon as that's done and the artwork is in place, I'll release the PDFs, and then the process of just getting the print up and running. I'm hoping, because they've actually got printers now in Australia, the turnaround time is a lot less, and so I should have everything sorted by March, fingers crossed. I know it's been a long time and I feel really bad and I apologize, but it is coming. That's a problem with having a solo kind of one-man creator suite, is that if you do get sick, there's no one to pick up the slack. So that's kind of crazy, and it sucks, but what are you going to do? So yeah, 2 more zines, 43, 44. I'm doing a trilogy of weird stuff. So this one will be 43 is weird magic, 44 is weird monsters, and then I'm pretty sure the next one is weird locations. Yes. And then after that, I'm not so sure. I need to figure that out sometime in the next couple of months. I've talked about Star Wars. If you haven't given this game a go, and even if you want to play it solo, it's definitely worth it. You can get the original rules, I believe. The PDFs might be free if you search. Otherwise, you can get the rule book still on eBay and places like that for a pretty reasonable amount, maybe $50 Australian, which is probably about 35 for US. I'm planning on running a solo game for that, so I might do a playthrough online just to give you guys a chance to see what it's like. But it's a good game. It's a great game. The other thing I wanted to sort of chat about is the solo campaign that I'm starting. So I will be putting it on YouTube. I've done the first little encounter. So what I'm going to do is offline, I'm going to, oh yeah, thanks, none of your business. So Yeah, so he's a great help today. So yeah, 50 Australia is 31.36 at the moment. So that is crazy, which means if you want to buy my zines, print copies, off my website, they're $8.95 Australian, which would probably be way cheaper in US dollars. So if you want to get them, it's probably a good time because the exchange rate is still pretty crap. Like the Australian dollar is pretty weak against the American dollar. I know this only because when I get paid from Patreon, they pay me in US dollars. So when I see the amount, $200 or $300 or whatever it is, that's in US dollars. So by the time I get it converted over to Australian dollars, I usually get an extra like $100 or $80 out of it. So that's the only reason I really know that the US dollar is pretty strong at the moment. Not from reading and looking at news, but just for how much money I receive when I receive US dollars. Anyway, so the solo campaign, I'm going to do the first part, like getting to the caves, because I'm doing the caves of conflict, I'm calling it, which is a play on the caves of chaos. So it's the old classic B2 Keep on the Borderlands module. So I'm just using the caves themselves. And the last solo campaign I did, and I'll be using, so I'm sort of flipping around in my head, old school essentials. So I'll be using that for the rule set with a variety of homebrew rules that I bring in, mostly that you can find within the zines, especially the older zines, where I lay out a lot of the house rules that I use, and then. So I'll be running that. So the last one I did was the classic. I don't know if I've got it handy. Hang on a sec. Oh, aren't you lucky I'm wearing pants? The classic dungeon from the old AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide. See if I can quickly find it. Here we go. So that's the dungeon. So that was the first one I did. You can find the first 4 sessions on my blog, where I describe sort of what happened. I ended up turning this into a silver mine because I noticed that the first half of the dungeon, except that this is the only entrance into the second part of the dungeon. So I sort of made this the living quarters, and then this was the mine proper. And it was an old dwarven silver mine, and my party was hired to clear it out, basically, because another consortium of dwarves were going to come and start to mine it. So I did that map, and then I sort of want to do a series of classic maps from D&D, and what I'll be doing is not having the contents from the module itself, but I'll be rolling randomly to see what creatures excuse me, are in that particular map. So I'll be just using the map, and I kind of figured, like, sort of game-wise, so many heroes have sort of, mapped those caves out, that the PCs managed to get hold of a map that so they know where they're going and they know the map layout, but they don't know what's in there. So it's been a while since anyone has explored it. They're going in to clear it out. Basically, the mayor of the town that they're in, Dusseldorf, he hired them basically to check it out and make sure there was no threats to the town, because it's about 17-18 miles away from the town. So the first part is just getting there. I'm going to do that on paper, offline, and then once I'm at the Caves of Chaos, then I'm going to be using a program online called, what's the program called? Sojour, which is pretty cool. If you want to check it out, it's SO. I'll type it out in the chat. It's pretty cool. I think it is actually primarily based for solo play. It's a VTT of sorts, but it's not meant to be played with other people. I think it's specifically for solo play. So I'm going to give that a go and do it online. I don't love being online when I play, but for this, I just think for the recording process, it's a lot easier. than having sort of a camera set up. And I just don't have the room at the moment to have a camera set up, because I'd have to take it down all the time, put it back up and all that sort of stuff. So while I'm figuring that out, I'll do this. I'll put it up online, and that should come out, I'm hoping, weekly. I'm going to sort of try and record like a few hours and then chop it up into maybe half-hour segments, because I think half an hour is pretty good for a playthrough. Once they get to the caves, which I'm going to do another session just on my own offline to get them there, they've got a posse of 8 mercenaries, a whole lot of donkeys and horses carrying supplies, and a couple of henchmen as well. So there'll be 8 PCs plus 2 henchmen going into the caves, which sounds like a lot, but with OSE you kind of need a few meat bags, in case someone dies. I'm not saying they will, but in case they do. The levels will be fairly low. All the PCs are first level, except for I've got 1 second and 2 third level PCs. One's a shaman and one's a cleric. So they've been sort of the longest running PCs that I've had in that particular campaign. So I'm really digging the campaign. It's sort of set in a part of my world, which I'm going to set up so that people can, so that I can use those maps from different modules. And so that's kind of a map of the world. I don't know if you can see that very well. So the town's down here, just there, and the caves will be up here. So that's a rough map. Oh, hello, Krista. Excellent to see you online. I haven't spoken to you for a long time. Krista and I used to play together online. Hey, Rag Prime. Oh, hello. I recognize the little picture. How's it going? Yeah, I was just talking about my solo campaigns, how they will be sort of done. Of course, I remembered Krista. How could I forget? Yeah, so the campaigns are coming. They will be recorded. They will be online. The next one will be Caves of Conflict, which is a play on the Caves of Chaos. If you miss most of this video, it records, and it'll be on my YouTube channel under the live tab. I don't know why it just doesn't go to the video tab, but whatever. And I've got probably a few other video ideas for YouTube. If you've got any ideas, I was thinking doing a Q&A, maybe as part of it. Image of Randall Tex Cobb from Raising Arizona. Oh, yes, of course it is. I've not seen that movie in a long time. Very long time. Actually, I need to see it again. Yeah, so if you've got any ideas for me to do on the YouTube channel, I've only got 3 videos up now, and 2 of them are live. Yeah, Chris, he's saying I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel. I didn't until probably about a week ago. I think I did a live chat about roughly a week ago. I just wanted to start using it. I've been umming and ahhing on it, and I don't know, like it's something that I do love doing, the live stuff. It's kind of cool. I just got to remember to wear pants. And yeah, it's a good way to sort of get people to get to know me, the person behind the zine. So that's kind of cool. I did actually, the other thing I'm working on at the moment, and I can't really show you it, but I'll show you pieces of it. I bought this from a local shop. It's a Lazy Susan. I don't know why they're called Lazy Susans. I really got to look that up. But I bought that because I saw another YouTuber having a setup where he's doing skirmish games, and he had his battle map on a Lazy Susan. So when he moved it just moved around, and I thought that was a really cool idea. Oh, thanks, Rug. Rug, is it Rug? Rag, maybe Rag Prime. He just said it was the best zine out there. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support and the amazing feedback I do get pretty much on a weekly basis. So that's really cool. It helps me keep going and keep doing it. Oh, here we go. None of your businesses. You're just Googling away, aren't you? None of the business. For the Lazy Susan, one of the speculations is that the name derives from servants in the 1700s who referred who were referred to as Susans. Another popular theory is that Thomas Jefferson invented them for his daughter Susan, who often complained that she was always the last to be served at the dinner table. I don't know how that would have helped, being last served, but I guess she could just move the stuff around and grab it when she wanted. Chris, really should consider some sort of collaboration with Hex Press. He seems to have a similar interest to you, I think. Yeah, I think so too. I might reach out to him. Now that I'm a YouTube creator, I guess I could probably reach out and see if he wants to do something. Yeah, I do enjoy his videos. Yeah, I think, none of your businesses, the 1700s explanation for the lazy Susan makes more sense. Yeah, it kind of does, I think. Yeah, I think, yeah. Anyway, it's a good device for me because I get to put I'm going to get a wooden board and just put the wooden board on top, and then I can just do the maps and stuff as I please. I want to sort of get more into the minis and the stuff. I think for I've been really getting into like just small bands, skirmish war games of late. Before I got sick, I was playing them, I think, once a week, just for fun. But I want to get back into it because I've got a whole bunch of minis which I bought from PAX. Hang on. I just knocked over a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, so I bought a couple of these big box sets. I bought Zombicide because I was playing an undead skirmish game. And this is a really good way of getting cheap minis. I think I picked this up on eBay. Was this the one? I think it was a damaged box or something, and I was selling it cheap. Maybe it wasn't this one. And I think you can pay like $50. I've got a blog post about it on my site if you want to check it out. But the minis ended up costing me like $1.99 or around $2 Australian, because you get so many minis in these box sets that I don't even really play the game. I've heard this game is actually pretty good, but I don't even really play the games. I just buy them for the minis, and I did that because I wanted minis for the skirmish game I was playing. Krista says, once my website's online, my next step will be create a YouTube channel too. Oh, sweet, Krista. Well, let me know. Let me know when the website is up, and I'll spruik it. And then let me know, obviously, when you go on YouTube. Actually, there's a picture of some of the minis on there. Look at that sucker. That's a vicious-looking dragon thing. Anyway, so, and also with the Hero Quest stuff, I kind of want to keep the Hero Quest stuff separate, but they had some really cool minis as well, like this guy. It just reminds me of the Locatha from D&D. I think that's how you pronounce it, Locatha. Oh, if I can get this sucker out. Man, they really push these in. So that's him there. I don't know if you can see him very well. How cool is that? That's a great mini. But I won't sit here and bore you with all the minis that I've got. Daryl, I've just picked up my first resin printer. We'll have to talk about minis. We will. I am actually on the fence with a 3D printer. The only thing really stopping me from getting a 3D printer is the room. Like, if I bought one, my wife would just stand there and look at me and go, where are you going to put that? So I really need to reorganize this space, which I am doing. And you can't see it, but it's a complete utter mess. If you didn't know, I collect movies like old 80s, 70s, DVDs. And I had to I got to the point where I had so many DVDs that I had to make the decision to put them into sleeves instead of keeping the DVDs on display, because it just got to the point where there's too many, especially with all my role-playing stuff. You can see, I don't know if I can turn this around. You can sort of see the role-playing stuff there, and that's kind of where that pile of DVDs there, that shelf used to be all DVDs, and the cupboard behind me was full of DVDs, but I had to put them in these metal boxes with sleeves that hold like 500 DVDs. So, yeah. Yeah, so as far as I don't know, this is wobbling now. So as far as the minis go, yeah, definitely. I do want a 3D printer. I've heard the bamboo ones are really good, but they're under some legal trouble at the moment. So they said if you need to get a bamboo printer, get it soon, because they might have to fold because of the legal action. I don't know how true that is. I haven't looked it up, but I just heard another YouTuber talking about it. But yeah, so in the meantime, I'm buying packs like this so I can get sort of cheap minis for those Skirmish war games. Because a lot of the Skirmish war games that come out now are mini agnostic, so you don't need to buy their minis because they don't sell them. It's just the rule set. So that's pretty cool. I might talk about that a little bit more next session, next live one I do. Because I've never been a war gamer. Most war games leave me pretty cold, and it was mainly because I'm not an artist and I can't paint minis that well. So all of my minis pretty much are unpainted, and so it's a case of, even if I had the skill on that, I probably wouldn't have the time to paint them. So even my Skirmish ones are like, they're just unpainted minis, but it's just fun for me to do. And I usually play them solo. I don't know anyone. None of my friends are really into Skirmish war games, I don't think. Maybe one or two, but I don't see them a lot. So solo it is. One-page rules, yes, definitely. I have downloaded that and I have it. I haven't played it yet. Sorry, that was Daryl who mentioned one-page rules. So yeah, so that looks like a really good game. Very simple, precise. I'm just trying to remember. I'm sort of waffling because I'm trying to remember the actual game that I played, and it was, I don't know if anyone knows it. It was an undead game where you played the necromancer who was attacking villages and stuff, and you had to fight the heroes. I can't remember the name, and it was funny because I bought it and played it, and I really loved it. And then just by chance, I started watching this YouTuber talk about games and stuff, and in one of the videos he mentioned that he created it, and I was like, oh man, like no wonder I like this guy. So, and I'll try and put a link below to all those YouTubers I mentioned, because I seriously can't remember their names off the top of my head. It's the bad memory thing, which is good when you get parcels, which you don't remember ordering. But as far as remembering people's names, it's pretty bad. So I apologize. But I'll link to them in the doobly-doo down below. But I think I might just cut it off there. That's almost half an hour, according to my time. And that's pretty much all I had to talk about. I'm pretty excited about the whole YouTube channel. I'll put up some other videos shortly. I will definitely talk about Skirmish War Games next video, and hopefully by the next video I'll have the new zines printed, which I can show you, because the covers are pretty damn awesome. Yeah, for the next two issues, I really love how they came out. So thanks for listening. This is Russ from YUMDM, and as always, happy gaming.